Hello, everyone. Welcome to what I'm calling Part 3A of the Super Mario RPG Randomizer tutorial. Uh, Calling it 3A because there's going to be a 3A and a 3B. The 3A, they're for different methods of playing the randomized ROM on your Wii console. So for 3A, as you can see by the title, we're going to play the simpler method with the RetroArch emulator. So now that we've installed the homebrew channel, we can load homebrew apps such as this emulator. So, what we need to do is we're going to open up, you're going to go to libretro.com, and this is the homepage for the whole libretro library, this cross-platform, multi-system emulation library. Go up to the top here, click on downloads, and that will take you to the current version, the current stable version here. So as of this video, the current stable version is 1.3.6. And in here, if you want to use this on your PC, you can download the Windows version. We want to use it on our Wii. So if you drill down to Nintendo and then to Wii, and you'll find the RetroArch.7z file. This is a 7-zip archive file. So if we click on this, get to download it. So we'll save that. Then, what we want to do is we're going to plug the SD card into our computer. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Should have done that first. So, RetroArch.7z. You need to use, this is a 7-zip archive, so you actually need to use 7-zip in order to open this. I use 7-zip as my general compression utility anyway, because it's really great. You go to 7-zip.org, and it's open source, and it's a great little program. I recommend this for any kind of... It handles basically any type of compressed archive, zip, RAR, 7-zip, all sorts of things. So, you want to download 32-bit or 64-bit version for your Windows system, whatever system you're on. It's cross-platform, so it'll work on basically anything. So once you have that installed, you need to use 7-zip. It has this nice little context menu when you right-click on stuff, which is great. And we're going to extract all the files in this. So I'm just extracting it right into this folder, RetroArch here, just to have everything in a folder here. So what we want to do is in the root of your SD card. This we just have all the stuff in here from installing the homebrew channel, all the letter bomb stuff. We can leave that in there. It's fine. Create a new folder called apps, APPS, in lowercase. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the RetroArch folder. Got it? Take this RetroArch folder that we just unzipped and move it into the apps folder that we just created on the SD card. So that will allow us to run RetroArch there as a homebrew app. The other thing we need to do is we need to put the randomized ROM that we created in the first video in this series in here as well. And it doesn't actually matter really where you put the ROM files, because within RetroArch, once it's loaded, you'll be able to navigate to exactly where you put the file. So for simplicity's sake, we're just going to make a folder called ROMs, also in the root here. That's just, the easiest thing to do. So RetroArch. Back to my... So here's the Mario RPG Randomizer folder where we did this before. So we generated a randomized ROM before. I generated the US one. I generated the Japanese one after the video as well with the same seed. So the example one that we generated in the very first video, SMRPGU 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 as the seed. I generated a US and Japanese one of this seed just for sake of demonstration. So we will copy these, and we will put them in the ROMs folder that we just created on the SD card. Then we'll be able to load them. And then we're ready to go. So, now, what we can do is eject mass storage device. Alright, and take the SD card, and we're going to put it back into our Wii system. So I will switch back to the Wii now. Here we go. insert the SD card. Thing. Okay. Now, here we have the homebrew channel that we just installed before. So we're going to go to the homebrew channel and start it up. And once we get to the homebrew channel, RetroArch appears on our list because we put it in that apps folder. So the homebrew channel looks for that apps folder, and everything that's in the apps folder will show up on the main menu here. So we can pick RetroArch here, port of RetroArch to the GameCube/Wii, version 1.36, and you just hit load. And welcome to RetroArch. Very simple interface here, but it does the job. So now we're in RetroArch. So by default, it should have decent default control bindings for the Wii remote. I recommend using the Wii Pro controller or a GameCube controller plugged into your Wii. By default, it supports default button mappings for those, so it should be exactly what you would expect from like a Super Nintendo controller with the button layout on the Pro controller. The other option that you can do is you can actually get a SNES to GameCube adapter. And that allows you to actually plug your Super Nintendo controller into the GameCube port on your Wii and actually play with the Super Nintendo controller. So for maximum authenticity, that's the way I go. In any case, once you're in RetroArch here, before we load the actual ROM itself, the first time you run RetroArch, there is a highly recommended thing I suggest you do. One of the things about using the emulator here instead of the Virtual Console WAD inject, RetroArch has an audio delay on it. The audio is going to be slightly delayed from the video by default. So if you go down here to settings, okay, and go in, and go to audio, you see right here, audio latency in milliseconds. By default, this is set to 64. 64 milliseconds is a decent amount of time. That's about like 4 or 5 frames if a 60 FPS game is running. So I'm not sure why this is so high by default. On a PC, you may have issues if you set this too low. The audio buffer is too small and you'll get a lot of crackling and stuff. It depends on your exact system setup and what operating system you're running, etc., etc. So for this, running this on the Wii here, it handles the audio buffering stuff just fine. So I recommend that you go in here and then hit left to lower this as low as it will go. And as low as it will go is 8 milliseconds. So that should be like less than 1 frame. That's about half a frame. So I recommend that you do that the first time that you run RetroArch here. You only have to do it once. It should remember it. And you hit B to go back out, B to go back up again. And just go save current config. And hit A, and you should be good. It should remember this now in every future time that you run this. So now we're running RetroArch. So you want to hit load core and hit A. And this is a list of all the cores for the various systems that the RetroArch library emulates. So you want to go all the way down to the bottom here. I would find SNES 9X libretro here. So there's SNES 9X and there's SNES 9X Next. We want to use SNES 9X Next. This is a slightly newer, modified version of the SNES 9X core that's specifically for RetroArch. So it should work a little bit better. It should give you a little bit better performance and stuff than the regular SNES 9X library. So if you select this and hit A, then it will load this core. Take a couple seconds, and now you can see at the bottom we've now loaded the SNES 9X Next version 1.52.4 core. So once this core is loaded, we can just go to load content, and we hit select file, and then it's going to ask you where do you want to go. So we want to go SD because we're running off of an SD card, and then now here's our SD card. Remember we created the apps folder and we created the ROMs folder. So we go into the ROMs folder that we created, and here's our randomized ROMs that we created. And then we just hit A. We'll load the English one first. So we just hit A. And there you have it. Now it's loading the ROM file. And hey, look, it's Super Mario RPG. Just like you remember. In fact, it actually maybe is a little... there's some... See that little slowdown there with the butterflies flying away there? That's some of the things that you might get on RetroArch versus like VC and stuff. I'm just going to hit A. So, hey, look, it's Super Mario RPG. In fact, it actually probably looks a little better than you might remember it. Because by default, RetroArch has some, filtering and stuff turned on. You can go into the video settings and mess around. You can turn off the filtering if you want to get that original pixelated look and everything. But yeah, here's our randomized ROM. You can tell it's a randomized ROM because, hey, look who's on the title screen. It's Bowser. That's not normal. That's not normal at all. It should be Mario. With this particular seed, it looks like it's gonna be Bowser. Yeah. We hit A, we have a new game. And notice, one feature on the English version here is that it shows you can confirm, if you're racing with other people, you can confirm that you all have the same seed by double checking that you have the same character that is showing up on the file select screen, which could be any of the 5 party members: Mario, Mallow, Bowser, Geno, or Peach. And when you start a new game and you go to the enter name screen here, you can see that the seed number is above the field where you enter your name. So, you can confirm that you have, okay, I have Bowser number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and everyone can confirm that they have the same seed, and then you should be able to, good to race. If you're playing on your own, obviously, nobody to compare it to, so just go ahead. But you can see that you have the seed number in the top corner there. And then you start the game just like normal. And, yeah, it looks like Super Mario RPG at the very beginning, but I can guarantee you that it's not the Super Mario RPG you remember. I'll let this play for a little bit here, just to show you what this actually ends up looking like here when you start playing it. The intro cutscene here is exactly the same as before. Bowser's gonna kidnap Peach. He's coming into his castle. Mario's coming to rescue her. Same old, right? Same old. Alright, let's see what we have here. So, I happen to know, since I speedrun this game, that Mario's base attack with these Terrapin enemies in here, an untimed attack will do 12 damage to them, I believe. So, and a timed attack would do 24. So, oh jeez, look at this. So, yeah, this genie guy, Baba Yaga, he's not supposed to be here. Normally the only enemies in these groups here are the Terrapins in Bowser's Keep. Those are the only enemies you see during this prologue sequence. So as you can see, the enemy sets can also be randomized. So you never quite know what you're gonna find in here. They shouldn't be super powerful for this stage in the game. I think that the randomizer does try to maintain a rough difficulty curve as things go along. So if I try hitting this guy... Ooh, 84 damage. Wow. He's trying to try on this Terrapin. Holy crap. So, so apparently Mario does 84 damage in this seed. Oh look, we have a Juju on this one here on the forced fight here. Oh, I mistimed that slightly, so it only did 66 instead of 84. All right. There we go. Wow. So that's a lot. That's a lot of damage. I think in the previous seed that I tried testing this with, Mario was only doing 26, I think he did with a timed hit, which is I think it's below average. So 84 is quite a lot. So it seems like Mario's shuffled stats in this seed might be kind of OP. We'll have to see. You know what? We'll play. Let's play through the intro, and let's see what happens here. So we got to attack the chain, right? If you played Mario RPG before. Wow, look at that! A single attack on the chain. So, in the original version of this game, there was no way that you could take out all of the chain HP with a single hit, even if you did a jump. instead of a regular attack. Oh, that's actually something I didn't even think to check. I've just been doing regular attacks, and I haven't even pulled up the special menu with the Y button yet, because those special attacks, when you have all the flags turned on, they're also randomized. So Mario normally starts the game with the jump ability, but in this case, he probably doesn't have jump. He probably has something completely different. In addition to, you know, his actual stats being randomized as well. The special abilities that the characters learn are also randomized, so you can have characters getting each other's attacks, and it's quite interesting. It can make for some very unconventional battle strategies. So I'm just gonna let this intro cutscene play out here briefly, because I really want to get down to Mario's pad and just be able to go into the menu and actually just take a look at the stats quickly and see what Mario's stats are and what special attack he has, just out of curiosity. I'm just curious about this seed now, but you get the idea. So already you can see there's some very interesting things going on here. It's quite a treat if you're really familiar with this game, and if you're a speedrunner of this game, or even if you've just played it a lot and you know it by heart. Give the randomizer a try. It'll throw you for a loop, and it'll show you some really cool stuff that you're not used to seeing in this game. I highly recommend it. It's quite entertaining. Alright, now we're gonna come down and land in the pipe house here. Harry is wrecking the day. Toad's gonna explain to us how doors work. Yeah, I don't know about this door thing. I've never heard of one of those. Alright, here we are. So now we're in Mario's pad. Let's take a look at the menu here. So, take a look. Ooh! Ooh, baby, look at that! So, his speed is 19. I think Mario's normal speed is 20, I think? I can't remember exactly, but his speed is 19, which I think is below average, but the attack, that attack is 42. That is quite above average, especially for the early part of the game here. I think that could be quite useful in this seed. It's not bad for starting off at all. The defense is only 1, though. Jeez. So he's going to take a lot of damage if you're not good at you know, timing those blocks. Magic attack and magic defense, honestly, I can't remember even what they are in the base game, so I don't even know if that's good or not. It seems low, but who knows? At least for magic attack, anyway. Those seem kind of low. I'm not sure if the experience that you need to level up is also randomized. I think it might be. I think it might be. Let's check special. So, Mario's first move is Super Flame. So Super Flame is the second version of the Fire Orb attack. Like, you get Jump and then Fire Orb, then Super Jump, then Super Flame, then Ultra Jump, and then Ultra Flame, I believe. So Super Flame is the 4th ability that Mario normally learns, and in this particular seed, it's the first thing he starts with. Not only that, the flower points used is 7. That's also randomized. Super Flame doesn't normally cost 7 in the base game, and the magic power is also randomized. I'm pretty sure 30 is low for Super Flame. I think it normally had a much higher magic power than that. And, oh, as you can see, Mario learns a new technique at level 8. That's definitely randomized, because Mario did not have to wait that long to learn his next move in the vanilla game, for sure. So it looks like the levels that the characters learn new abilities at is also shuffled around as well. So it looks like Mario won't be learning anything new for a while, so it's a good thing he has such a high physical attack. That would be quite useful, I think. I'll just run over here and save the game, just throw Bowser on the screen there. Alright. Yeah, so, yeah, that's RetroArch on the Wii. And, like I said, the reason that you want to play on the Wii like this, outputting your Wii to a CRT, this is going to have the very minimal amount of input delay. Basically the only way that this can be better, to get it to look like the actual SNES and really play like it, and even have a smoother frame rate and no slowdown, is to do the WAD injection for the Virtual Console WADs for it. So that's what I'm going to cover in the next video, is the WAD injection method. So that's a completely separate thing. You only have to do one of these things. If you want to play on RetroArch like this, just get the homebrew channel installed and run RetroArch. That's all you need to do. If you want to do the WAD injection stuff, it's a bit more of a complicated process, but I think it's worth it because that's the closest that you can get to an actual Super Nintendo system. So for purity of experience and for me being used to speedrunning it and knowing the attack timings and stuff, being able to get it very close to an actual console with, very, very minimal input delay, that's very important for us speedrunners when we're doing stuff like this. So I'm going to cover that in the next video. So for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.